O Diyos aming Ama, ang lahat ng nilalang ay marapat na sumamba sa iyo. Higit sa iyong mga biyaya, sinasamba ka namin dahil ikaw ay ikaw. Lumalapit kami sa iyo, dakilang tagapaglikha, nagsusumamo at humihingi ng kapatawaran. Kami ay nagkulang at nagkasala. Patawarin mo kami sa katigasan ng aming mga puso. Turuan mo kami at dalhin sa inyong kalooban. Tingnan mo kami ng may awa at kahabagan. Hilumin mo po ang aming bayan, ang aming mga mahal sa buhay, kaibigan, kapitbahay, karatig bayan, ganon din ang aming mga kaaway sa pandemyang kinahaharap namin sa COVID-19. Isama niyo na rin ang mga may sakit sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Panginoon, balutin mo kami ng inyong kaluwalhatian. Itago mo kami sa lilim ng inyong mga pakpak laban sa anumang kapahamakan o wala sa oras na kamatayan. Kristo, ang tinapay ng buhay, alalahanin niyo po ang mga namumuno sa aming bansa, ang mga ilaw at haligi ng bawat tahanan, at mga kawani na nagtatanggol sa aming seguridad at mga frontliners. Batid mo, Panginoon, ang mga dinaraanan at bawat ganap sa aming buhay. Espiritong Banal, aming tanggulan at gabay, imulat ang aming mga mata at ipakita si Jesus ang Panginoon at tagapagligtas, ang nag-iisang katotohanan at tanging daan tungo sa Ama. Wala nang iba. Purihin ka, O aming Diyos. Ang presensya mo ay tunay na biyaya ng aming buhay. Ito ang aming samot panalangin sa pangalan ni Jesus, Kordero ng Diyos na nag-aalis ng kasalanan ng mundo. Amen.
Walang kasing saya ang Paskong Pinoy. Dumaan man ang problema at pandemya, kayang-kayang lampasan basta't nagdadamayan at nagmamahalan.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Tuloy na tuloy pa rin ang Pasko dito sa V81 Radio Worldwide.
Ito ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino. Basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan. Kahit nasaan ka man, ito'y mapapakinggan.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program anchors and producers and do not necessarily reflect the policies and position of this station. The program that gives you the latest in Filipino business and trends with industry experts and norm-challenging brands to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of the consumer market. This is Talk.Shop.Asia Next Gen, thinking forward, staying relevant. Hosted by its founding anchor, business and transformation mentor Rolly Pagaspas, global franchising and business coach Don Senita, together with the beauty and business maven Muriel Villanueva. This is your Talk.Shop.Asia Next Gen, only here on V81 Radio Worldwide.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Talk Shop Asia Next Gen. I am Don Sunita, your anchor, and it's a lovely Sunday afternoon. We had some sun during the day, and we are praying for better weather today and in the next days. We are at season 18 of Talk Shop Asia, and episode 3 of Talk Shop Asia Next Gen. As you may know, we just concluded the highly successful and glorious season rather, of Talk Shop Asia Global USA edition as we reimagined a wide array of industries in the time of the pandemic, from real estate to skincare, food, healthcare, talent management, culture and arts, film, broadcast, visual arts, dance, theater, music, mining, agriculture, even urban farming, fashion, education, people management. No? So the Talk Shop Asia Global USA Edition group will be on a break for a month, but they will be back by November 18 and spicing our afternoons, our days even more with two new special co-hosts. So speaking of co-hosts, I'd like to welcome my passionate and sunny co-anchor, our in-house beauty and biz maven, Miss Marielle Villanueva. Hi, Marielle.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hello, Don. How have you been? How was your week?
I'm good. I'm good. Well, it's cold. First, I'm anticipating better weather, but things will get better naman siguro. The sun will shine in a few hours, I guess.
Exactly. So, hello again, everyone. Thank you for once again spending your Sunday afternoon with us. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you are in the world. We are streaming live all over the world to the 7 million reach of our broadcast partner studio, of course, V81 Radio Worldwide.
That is right, Marielle. Mabuhay sa ating mga kababayan wherever you are in the world. Shout out sa ating partner studios in South Manila, California, and Hong Kong. You're watching us live through Facebook with Talk Shop Asia Retail Industries Group, Talk Shop Asia Next Gen, V81 Radio Worldwide, and of course the Philippine Retailers Association official Facebook pages.
Of course, you may also catch us live through V81 website through www.v81radio.com or through V81 Radio app, downloadable through Google Play Store and App Store. Our program is also available on demand across and all our social media pages anytime, all the time.
Oh, nga, Mariel, it's really bringing the Filipinos worldwide together, no? As we here at Talk Shop Asia Next Gen bring business trends and brands that are making waves with quality products and innovations. And speaking, of course, of quality products and innovations, we'd like to greet our friends from the Philippine Retailers Association, who's been a long-time partner already of Talk Shop Asia from the time we started 5 years ago.
Wow. That has been long gone. From that time na nasa traditional media pa ang Talk Shop Asia through TV, radio format. And now, we have shifted as well with the digital studio. We have worked with PRA in supporting the Filipino retail and service industry.
You said it, Mariela, no? And just like us, it's a Talk Shop Asia, we have moved on to digital studio, no? In cooperation with the world as we try to adjust to the changing landscape of retail and business, no? Similar to us, the entire world and the entire Philippines has embraced digital world with arms wide open and at a very accelerated speed, no? According to the Digital 2020 Stat Shot nga by Hootsuite and We Are Social, throughout the pandemic, the Philippines has shown increased reliance on the internet. Can you imagine, Mariel? As a means to cope and to safely shop for essentials. 64% of internet users now reported spending more time on social media, while 23% of users shared that they are spending more time shopping online. Based din sa report ng World Bank and the National Economic and Development Authority, or the NEDA, yung rapid adoption ng Pilipinas of these digital technologies can help us overcome the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, help us recover from the crisis, and of course, achieve its vision of becoming a middle-class society free of poverty.
Oh, that is really a goal, Don. That is so true. A lot of work-from-home arrangement, diba, were also implemented by companies, bringing forth more collaborative efforts between the private industry and the government entities in providing more digital tools para sa mga businesses and consumers.
I'm sure yung ating mga viewers all over the world are very excited to hear about this digital shift. Our friends from, of course, from the Middle East, from Australia, from Europe and US, I'm pretty sure they would want to learn more about this shift that we are experiencing. This afternoon, we are very lucky to have with us two very young movers and shakers in the industry as we talk about digital transformation. Syempre, who best to invite, no? With the shift than two very young leaders. So we have with us, Miguel, can we show our show poster? We have with us this afternoon, one of our resource guests is the CEO of a technology company that offers artificial intelligence and system solutions to companies as more enterprises navigate the digital world.
Yes, also with us this afternoon is one of the founders of a company that allows us to wear our faith to tell us how they started and how digital transformation has allowed them to reach and touch more lives. Exciting.
That's true. Oh, very exciting yan, Mariel, kasi even faith, no? Last week we also discussed trend about, we have a modern saint, okay? So ngayon naman, really the shift of digital transformation is multi-generational talaga siya. It also covers even products like faith going into digital, no? So I think that's really, imagine the scope of the shift that we are experiencing. It is such an exciting ride towards digital transformation, and we are very excited to hear about the insights of our guests. I'm pretty sure everybody else is too. So, as we face the new normal, that is what we will be bringing you this afternoon. All that will be coming up right after this very short break.
We'll be back shortly. This is your Talk.Shop.Asia Next Gen. Only here on V81 Radio Worldwide. Good news para sa mga kababayan natin abroad. Mapapanood nyo na ang inyong mga paboritong V81 radio shows sa Amazon Fire TV. Simple lang ang gawin. Hanapin lang ang V81 TV app and install. Tiyak na wala kayong mamimiss na episodes na gusto nyo dahil mapapanood nyo na ito anytime and anywhere you want. Gamit ang Amazon Fire TV. Tandaan lang, just install V81 TV app and you're good to go. Another first from V81 Radio Worldwide. Ano na nga ba ang nangyayari sa Pinas? May pagbabago ba? Umuunlad ba tayo? Kausapin natin ang iba't ibang namumuno sa mga lokal na pamahalaan at national agencies na sumusuporta sa mga proyekto para sa kaunlaran. Libutin natin ang iba't ibang lugar sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao para malaman ang mga pagbabago at mga bagong destinasyon. Kilalanin kung sino-sino ang mga nasa LGU. Ano ba ang impact ng LGU sa araw-araw nating pamumuhay? Learn more about your city dito sa KPI, Kaunlaran at Pagbabago para sa inyo. KPI, Kaunlaran at Pagbabago para sa inyo. Samahan si Rachel Bonus at Raul Santos tuwing Sabado, 1:00 ng hapon, Philippine Time. KPI, Kaunlaran at Pagbabago para sa inyo. KPI, Kaunlaran at Pagbabago para sa inyo. Dito lang yan para sa inyo sa V81 Radio. Pagpatak ng 7, dapat lahat nakatutok sa amin. Catch these programs at 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Talk.Shop.Asia Global, USA Edition with Rolly Pagaspas and Rosario Cajucom Bradbury. Home Not Alone sounds from home with Papa Gio and Freedom in Christ with Felson. It's all about entrepreneurship, entertainment, and enlightenment. Back-to-back programs at 7. LA at 7. LA at 7. Exclusively on V81 Radio, Los Angeles. Now back to Talk Shop Asia Next Gen. Only here on V81 Radio Worldwide.
Once again, we'd like to thank the Philippine Retailers Association for being a partner of Talk Shop Asia Next Gen. We'd like to thank them for allowing us to access the expertise of their partner members as we bring more insights to our business community and the consumers. This afternoon, Marielle, we are very excited to have with us two leaders, no, in the field then, who have been pioneering some of the changes in the digital transformation shift. Speaking of digital transformation shift, Marielle, I'd like to thank our yung guest natin last week, sila Sir Barney and of World Balance and Alana, Mineral Cosmetics, to Diego Bellaflor. Courtesy ni Diego, yung aking napakagandang virtual background.
Yes, I can see, no? Nagkaroon tayo ng instant coach with Diego.
Correct. So, this is my way of, riding into the digital transformation shift. So going back to our topic, and we are glad to have this afternoon to walk us through what digital transformation is and how we can ride through the revolution, is a very young and very passionate CEO of an artificial intelligence and systems company. He brings with him both a theoretical and practical leadership in the industry as a graduate of the University of the Philippines, Diliman. He also finished with the Asian Institute of Management. His company brings the AI, or the artificial intelligence, in retail and is considered a smart retail enabler as they equip businesses with the right tools and digital transformation. He's a frequent moderator and resource speaker on our special topic this afternoon. We're glad to have him this afternoon, the CEO of Retail Gate Technologies Incorporated, Mr. Rafael Layosa. Hi, Raf. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon. How you guys doing?
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the show, Raf.
Thank you. I mean, it's amazing to be here. Unfortunately, it's rather overcast this afternoon, but it's still very bright with this show, right?
Right.
Yes, we look forward to having all your insights in digital transformation with us this afternoon.
I'm very excited.
Please greet our viewers from all over the world, no? So I'm pretty sure they're excited to know more about the topic.
Yeah. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone all over the world. I should follow that script, no? I just learned that from Muriel kanina. But anyway, good day to everyone. Again, I'm Raf Layosa of Retail Gate, and as was mentioned earlier, I'm a proud member of the PRA, and we really live and breathe digital transformation. And what we live for, what we stand for as a company, is really to help our retailers go through the journey of digital transformation. That's why we call ourselves a smart retailing enabler. And hindi po yan sponsored by the brand. It's just really for digital transformation that we hold for retail.
I think it also goes then to show that Filipino companies are able to empower local brands into adapting to digital transformation. Gone are the days na when you talk about digital transformation, you have to get like somebody from outside of the country to help navigate the digital transformation. Right here in the Philippines, we have resource companies like yours, to help us with that.
Yeah, and the biggest difference, of course, is if you take people from other countries, is they're working on a different context. Unlike with us, we know how the market works here because this is our home. So let's just work together for our home, for our market here, and to really help our retailers really go through and navigate through the journey of digital transformation. And that's what
well said.
We have the advantage. Well, before we start our formal conversation, we'd like to flash this very short clip of you talking about digital transformation in one of the major events of PRA last year. Gel?
Right.
Well, in this day and age, we're often told that data really is the new fuel or the new oil. And this is precisely because when we think of digital revolution or digital transformation, it's really about change. And that's why data is important, because we can't begin to change things if we don't know where the problems lie or where the gaps are. And especially like for us, we believe that the one thing very crucial in business is that you can't improve what you can't measure. And that's why first getting the right data, capturing that data as our basis for decisions is very crucial in making the proper decisions towards transformation in any revolution or the digital revolution in this day and age. The biggest opportunity that we're seeing now is really in when we think of customer experience. So when we think of gathering the right data, it's the crucial opportunity there is looking into what is the experience that customers are now having as they go through or as they shop in our stores. When we revisit the shopper journey from the moment they enter the store to the so they typically enter the store, they browse through the store, pick out items, try items, line up, and then make a purchase. Typically, the data we are only are able to capture today is in the extremes, only upon purchase or when people are just simply browsing online. But the crucial thing about that is where the definitive customer experience is happening, because that is where the experience of customers would really shape their decision on whether or not they would pursue with a purchase. And that's why it's very important to capture that data so that we can know how can we shape and refine the experience of customers through those steps in order to either give them a more convenient experience or a more unique experience so that we can influence them to make more purchase. And that actually is how we drive what is often referred to as conversion rate. To get the right data, it always starts with what do we want to discover in the first place and where are we getting the data.
Okay, so once again, I'd like to thank the Philippine
Wow.
Retailers Association. Very,
So I like this
bumata.
smile of Ralph. Ang ganda ng smile
Makes
of
me miss
Ralph.
Narce, grabe.
Yes.
Tama.
Yeah, that makes
So
me
this was
miss
taken
Narce.
last
That was from last year pa eh.
Correct. Ito yung mga bagay na nami-miss natin from our from the pre-pandemic season that we're able to come together. Katulad nito, the NARCE in December 2019 at the SMX. Was this at SMX?
Yeah, that was in SMX in August last year.
Sorry, that's August last year pala. So we missed this, So, going through the video, we see here a lot of very interesting terms you use like data, consumer experience, customer experience. So, but before we go into delve into the video, I'm pretty sure for the benefit of our audience, na medyo bago to the term, roughly walk us through what digital transformation is in essence and what it's all about.
Yeah, actually, when we think of digital transformation, it's the key word there is really transformation. So you know that there's something that's supposed to change. It just so happens that when we think of digital transformation, there's the introduction of a digital component or introduction of a technology that will be used. But the key really is, what do you need to transform? If you remember in the video I mentioned, the thing is, we need to first understand where are the problems, where do the gaps lie, because that's how you will determine what needs transformation. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be just digital, because I always say this, when we think of digital transformation, it's actually as much a people problem as it is a technology problem. They come in hand. So you have to really think, when a company begins to look into taking digital transformation as a strategy, it's very important to first find out what do we need to fix in the first place. And that's where data really comes in. Because like I mentioned in the video, you can't improve what you can't measure. So you need to know. You can't change anything going in blind if you don't know, if you don't have any basis to determine what to fix. And by having that data, you also are able to track the journey. I mean, digital transformation is a journey, actually, a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's very important at the start. You're very clear. You have a basis, you have the data, that will tell you what you need to fix, and from there you can already determine what's your vision for the company. When you think of digital transformation, just like any transformation process, what is the end goal? And once you define that, then you define each step along the way and what components within the organization will have to go through transformation and powered by technology in order to effectively go through that digital transformation process. And it's an iterative process. It's not always a one straight line of a journey. In fact, it could always change as you go along. One day you might be thinking, oh, we should be here by this time. But a few months down the line, you realize, okay, wait, that's not going to work. We got to make some changes. That's really part of the process. But that's the beauty of it also, because you evolve as you move forward.
That's right. You mentioned it being a strategy and it being an end goal, no? Having worked with different companies, no, what are the usual end goals once a company goes into digital transformation?
Well, actually, there are many goals that can be connected to digital transformation. The key there actually is, of course, when you do digital transformation, it's not like you're going to totally change the whole company, that whole identity of company. You still have to remain true to who you are as a company. You can do some redefining of who you are, but at the end of the day, it should still be aligned with your strategy and your overall direction and their mission and vision as a company, right? But the typical goals for digital, or the purpose of digital transformation, would be first and foremost to gain wider reach, to be more accessible to the audience or to the market, and also to become more convenient. The most, of course, the best one, actually the sexiest reason why companies would want to go through digital transformation is to improve what I mentioned earlier, customer experience. Because why? With digital transformation, what are you really providing your customers? A more unique and convenient experience of your brand. So then that's the most common thing. But then the question becomes is, if all the companies are taking that as a goal for digital transformation, how then will you differentiate? That's
Right.
why you have to still be very true to your own brand identity, your brand strategy, your mission and vision, and just really tie that closely with digital transformation. Because digital transformation, I would say, is more than I would say it's a crucial, a very powerful element of a strategy, but it cannot be the only strategy. It's a power. It's essentially a tool for the overall growth and expansion of a business.
What I like about what Raf just said, Muriel, is that yung being able to staying true to what your brand is all about and using digital transformation as a strategy for you to accelerate, pursuing those goals. I think that's very nice because it doesn't require a whole shift in your organization. It just requires some tweaking, some tweaking to leverage your company into bigger heights. So
It
we talk
doesn't,
about
it doesn't make it sound so scary. Kasi it's true
Oo.
that when people say, "Oh, let's go digital with what your company is used to," may certain fear. There's that stigma na, "Oh, paano we have to change everything." That's right.
it can get
that's
intimidating for some.
Yeah, that's actually the biggest barrier to digital transformation: the fear, the stigma
Yeah.
of change. And as we've always heard, naman, diba, the biggest barrier to change, to progress, is the fear of change. Diba?
Yeah.
But when we think of improvement, that in itself is change. Diba? But the thing about digital transformation, as was mentioned by Muriel earlier, it's not an overhaul of the company, but rather it's a challenge for every member of the company to take it a step further. So people shouldn't be afraid, but rather really see it as a challenge. How can I be better in my role? So typically what you mentioned, people get afraid or have that stigma of digital transformation. Typically the stigma there actually is, how will that affect my role in the company? How will that change my responsibilities? But that's where the leadership becomes very crucial. It's very important for the tone at the top to make it very clear that digital transformation is not just for the company. It's for all of us. and we are all in this together. So don't worry about you losing your job because we're going through digital transformation. If your job might be affected, it's either we give you a different job or we add more responsibilities to you. But think of it as a way of really upskilling for everyone, because that is what really has to come with digital transformation. And in that process, each member of the organization would also then transform and realize themselves, oh, I can do this pala. Oh, I can actually drive these results. And that also allows them to feel more empowered and realize that I can actually contribute more to the company because of this direction of digital transformation.
I like what you mentioned there about, it being the direction has come from the top, no, and then it sticks down to everybody in the organization. No? So that being said, let's say for a leader, for a CEO, or for a founder, what should be the mindset to begin with when you're going into that direction?
Okay, that's a
How do
very
you
interesting
get
question.
the whole team on board also?
Yeah. That's a very interesting question. When we think of mindsets, no, we've probably heard of the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. But the thing about growth mindset, as we all know, we've already heard, no, growth mindset is really to think of opportunities to improve yourself, to grow, right? But then the next step further from that is really the innovation mindset. It's not just about how can I do this better, but how can I do this differently? And not just differently, but more efficiently. What tools or what skills do I need in order to improve the whole process itself, right? It's not just the outcome, but even the process. So instead of doing traditionally steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe I just have to go through 1, 3, and 5. I cut it down to a total of just 3 steps because of certain skills or tools that I can incorporate in the process. So it's really about, when we think of innovation mindset, it's that openness to not just a change of what needs to be done, but a change in how we are going to do things and how we even think about come our way.
Okay, that's right. Ano, I think ang maganda doon is that it's really parang minimizing, not minimizing. It's really making the process more efficient. No, that's what innovation is really all about, and it's having everybody on board, cooperative to that mindset that
Yeah.
really sets the tone, no, for the journey that your
Yes.
company will be going into.
Actually, about that pala, sorry, I didn't get to answer that question of Muriel pala. No? How do we get everyone on board? First and foremost, we have to be very clear on what is the purpose of digital transformation. Why are we taking that direction in the first place? It shouldn't be just for the heck of. It shouldn't be just everyone's going digital, so should we.
Uso.
No.
Uso kasi.
Not just because it's uso. You should be very clear. Where do we want to go? And because we want to go there, we realize that going digital is the best way to go to take that direction, diba? To pursue that vision. Then once that is made clear, the next question is, what does it mean for them? So it has to be very clear, and you have to. The biggest challenge for the leaders then becomes, how can you manage and even take away that stigma, take away that fear, diba? And that's where having that internal program of upskilling will really be very crucial. If they don't know how to do it, help them. Let them know, actually, as a leader, that you are there to help them. You're not there to replace them because they don't know how to do it, but you're there to equip them with the right tools and skills in order to continue and be part of this journey with you. Let them feel now that they are actually part of that journey, that they are a crucial part of that journey, so that they too can embrace that, okay, I have to transform with the company so that we can grow together. And as you go through that process, yes?
You're actually saying, Raf, that even the team is also part of the data that you need for it to be, so it's really one whole thing that has to go through with one goal in mind.
Yes, definitely. Now, when we think of digital transformation, and I'm actually taking this also as I've learned it from other people, other great leaders of digital transformation. The key things that we need to transform in digital transformation is first and foremost people, then our processes, then our products, so that we know, and we from there, dun lang papasok yung technology or the platform. Actually, that comes in last, but you have to get all the first three in place first. Yeah? Transform your people that will help you improve your processes in order to bring your new products or even your current products to the right platform to reach your market better.
Yeah, so some of our viewers who maybe have started their shift towards digital transformation. Some of them look at digital transformation as a way to drive more revenue into the company.
Yes, definitely.
So how does digital transformation make that happen for a company once they go into digital transformation?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, the one common thing about digital transformation is to widen the reach and excuse me, and improve customer experience, and that in itself allows you to really increase your revenue. But of course, it's going to be a different competitive landscape when you take that direction, right? But in terms of the revenues, making it more accessible, making it more convenient, makes it actually better for your customers and make them more willing to pay for what you have to offer. And the reach going digital is actually allows your customers to or actually even your non-customers to discover your brand. And since they start seeing you, they realize, oh, this is a brand I've never seen before. Probably because of some geographic barriers. Before you're not necessarily available in their area because you're not in that store that's near their area, but because you're available online and people are seeing you online and they realize I need to get this product. Then that's where fulfillment comes in. You have to make sure that you have the right process for fulfillment, especially the last mile fulfillment. That's always the biggest challenge. But once you get that fixed and make sure that your customers are satisfied and all concerns are covered, then you've got a new customer, and that actually builds on your revenue.
I'd like to add that to agree on that, because remember when Sir Barney last week, he talked about once they started going digital, they were able to serve more customers because of yung inventory. Having shoe sizes available in one store can be a limitation to some of their customers. Now that they went into digital, everything is in one place. Customers can just order through online, and then on the same day they can ship out the product. Customers doesn't have to visit one store pag wala yung size niya doon, and then visit another store pag wala yung size niya doon. So it makes the process of buying, fulfilling, and everything easier, no?
True.
On the
And
consumer,
with the case of Elana naman last week also, when they started out digital. So it's a different way naman for them. They started digital and then going to retail. It's easier naman for them. Digital is already set, and then that's how they incorporate going to retail. It's much easier. So the benefit of digital is really amazing.
Yeah.
Totoo. Let's say kasi Raf, let's say for a retail company na small time pa lang siya. Where do they start? Pag ganyan. Oo. Kumbaga they have yet to really expand, but they would want to go into digital. How do they start such a journey?
Okay, I would always say first off, start with your people. Make sure that they are ready, because you can't just jump into going digital when your people are not familiar with the process, or you'll just find your people being overwhelmed. So you have to start first with your people. Like I mentioned, be clear on the vision, the purpose of going digital, and how they fit into that process. Once that has been covered, then you revisit your processes, your resources. What can be done? What is realistic? Going digital doesn't have to be costly. It can be as simple as leveraging on the simple things online, like Facebook. But the key there is you have to be where your market is. There's no point in going somewhere where your market isn't present, right? So For example, the easiest thing is Facebook. Almost everyone, I assume, is already on Facebook. So you could start there. There's Facebook shops. It's free to use. Right? The only cost you might have to do is to make sure you've got the right product shots, and you have someone to maintain that. But then again, see, you need someone to maintain that. That's why I said first and foremost, start with your people,
Start with it.
because they have to be ready to take on that new responsibility. And
Oo, tama.
once you do that, you just test. The thing about that, I would say, is you have to also adopt that mindset, that innovation mindset. I would say goes akin with the way startups think. No? The way startups think actually is we always have three key things to do always: build, test, learn. So that's how you could do it. You like, for example, with the Facebook Shops page, you build your Facebook Shops page, put in your products right there, and then you test. How is the reception of the market? How much people are buying? Who are buying in the first place? And that's how you learn. And then you can iterate from there. It's always an iterate based on what you learn.
Okay. I like what you mentioned about, what are they buying, who are buying. So these are all data, diba? That is
Yes.
very
Yeah.
crucial in your digital transformation. So does that mean, let's say I have a business and then I want to go into digital, sabihin ba nun, lahat ng data ay kailangan makuha ko, or there are just like specific data I need lang?
Well, again, it depends on what your objective would be. So to answer the question, lahat ba ng data kailangan? It depends on your objective. But the most basic there is you need to know who your market is, what are they looking for, and what are they buying. And then the next questions there is, how can you, if let's say your objective is, how can I make it more convenient for my customers? Then you have to start looking into what are the payment modes that they're looking for. Diba? What other channels are they present on? Are they all just COD, or do you have people already starting to look for cashless transactions? Are these people generally patient to wait for 2 weeks or so for your product to arrive at their doorstep, or are they starting to become more? Is it becoming more competitive that they would expect you to deliver within the next 2 to 3 days? You have to really listen to the market and really see what, given the data that you can capture online, and that's the beauty of going online. All the data is there. You can already capture all that data, provided, of course, that you follow the right data privacy policies, right?
Correct.
But once you capture all that data, if you know how to work with that data, then there's so much you can do already. And then with that customer data, you also look into your own data internally, your processes, so that you can see, given what I discover from the customer experience, what can I improve within my processes so that I can address the needs in the customer experience.
That's right. No? So for example, your customers are buying more of this size, let's say shoes, no? So on the part of your internal process, it's for you to produce more of this size, kasi this is the demand. So it's really like that. No?
Yes.
It's really knowing what customers want. And go ahead.
Definitely, it starts with the customer. No? So you could look at different things, not just about the size, because the size is already after the fact. You could even look at things at what time do your customers start browsing? Where do they actually look at? What particular sections of your page do they look at? How long do they browse? What's their attention span? These are some very, very interesting things that you can discover as long as you know how to capture that data. And once you capture that data, the next question is, what can you do with that data? If you know how to work with that data, you can do a lot of magic with that, because you can really shape the customer experience as a response to that data from the insights that you can call out of that data.
Yeah, and you could do, you could create a better customer relationship with that as well. See, it
Yes,
expands
definitely.
from there. The relationship is important, especially for retailers and all merchants. Lahat, services, lahat ng sector. Relationship with clients and customers is very vital.
Yeah, I mean, you really need to see there what really matters to your customer.
Yeah.
Right? Is it speed? Is it variety? Is it convenience? What is it really? Is it presence, or is it even your values? Once you get all these insights, then you know how to best respond. Again, like what was mentioned in the video, you can't improve what you can't measure. You start by measuring,
Right.
so that you know how you can respond.
I think what I also like about this process is that, since you have all this data already, let's say what time customers shop, no? So once you have this data, you can streamline your process. Baka naman we're opening our shop at a much earlier time when customers are browsing at a later time, no? So I think it also allows you to streamline your process, cut on maybe unnecessary costs, which would be a big savings for any company, I would assume. Di ba,
Yeah,
Raf?
definitely. Yes. And actually, with what you said, no, that's also akin to going to the back to the brick and mortar store. No, the thing about that with when we think of brick and mortar store, no, I'm a firm believer that the brick and mortar store is here to stay. Even though with the pandemic, and us going digital, this is just, I would say, accelerating the presence of and the growth of digital. But the brick and mortar stores, that's an institution. That's here to
It
stay.
is.
It will always be there. But the question is, how can it then improve and become even more relevant in the presence of this digital age, right? And that's what I was talking about in that video from last year. No? And when we think of data to see what needs improvement, traditionally speaking, the data is only captured from the moment people search online for your product, what's commonly referred to as the zero moment of truth. And at the end of it, when people already buy. But what's the whole process between that, diba? People search, then they go to the store, they enter the store, they browse for the different items that they're looking for, they pick it up, try it out, line up, and purchase. Ang daming steps nun, right? That's a lot of steps all the way until purchase. Entry, browsing, picking up, lining up, paying. That's 5 steps that's not captured. There's no data. But when you think about it really closely, in the physical store context, that's where in each step the customer experience plays a crucial role on whether or not that customer will make a purchase. Pagpasok, were they greeted right? Did they enjoy it? Was the ambience right for them? Was it conducive? Were they assisted right by the sales representatives? While they're browsing, did they easily find what they're looking for? Or was it too much of a trouble? Was it a mess for them? Did they find the right items? Or did they find the right item but not the right size? Is it available in the first place? When they when they fit it, well, right now definitely, is it safe to fit in the first place? Do they feel safe to fit that item? Definitely they would want to try the product before they actually use it, right? And then when they line up, did they have to wait for so long before they get to pay? And then payment right now, a lot of people have shifted to go cashless, contactless payments, precisely to be safe. Now, ako mismo, I don't like paying cash anymore. I hate having to go to the ATM to withdraw. It's too taxing already for me to have to go to an ATM to withdraw. I'd rather just pay cashless, diba? And if you don't have that option, what will that tell your customer, right? So that, again, those key points will shape the customer experience. And if you don't have the data about that experience, how will you know what to fix? That's the importance. And that's actually what we do, how we help our retailers really transform that customer experience. It starts by knowing where the problems lie.
What I like about this is yung binanggit ni Rafael, no, na digital doesn't have to compete with brick and mortar. In fact, it enhances the brick and mortar experience. So if you have a retail store, you don't have to look at digital as something that will make your retail store obsolete. In fact, it will make your retail store even more customer friendly. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes. And the thing about that, actually, just to add on to what you said, Don, excuse me, is that typically we think of brick and mortar and e-commerce, two separate things. But that's not the ideal scenario. What should work is they come in hand. They work together. Why? Because even online, that can also help drive traffic to your stores. And your stores can also drive traffic to your online. It depends on how you shape that customer experience, you shape that process. But the beauty of it is when they come together to help one another. Online should not compete with your offline. It should support and even strengthen they should support and strengthen one another. And that's what we're seeing right now, no? That a lot of companies now are really looking into how can we go into omni-channel retailing, because that's what it's all about, bridging the gap between online and offline.
So true.
I like that. No? It's really complementary with each other. No, that being said, kasi baka isipin ng iba, naku, pag mag-digital transformation ako, baka ganito kalaking budget ang kailangan kong i-allocate dyan. So,
another
how
stigma, no? So another
how
stigma
can they
going
approach
to
it?
digital.
How can they approach it in a way na it won't be very taxing on the financial aspect of the business?
Okay. Well, again, you have to be very clear on what your direction is, what your objective is, and that should be backed up by the data. No? So you need to have that data again to know that when you set your goal, it's also realistic. And then once you have that realistic goal, then you need to identify what digital processes will help you reach that goal. And then that's when you assess which of these digital processes are the most crucial and therefore worth the budget. Then that's when you look into the accounting side of it, then becomes how much should I budget and how much will each peso drive into as a sale, right? And that's when you just really define, and then you could really just prioritize which really matters. And that's also, again, where the principle of build, test, learn comes in. It doesn't have to be expensive agad. No? Just build it, test it, and learn from there so that you know how you can improve the process along the way. You can iterate and iterate. But of course, the best thing I would say is finding the right partner that will really help you in terms of that journey, to really hold your hand in that process, because it's not an easy process. It's not an easy journey. But finding the right partner who really is there to understand where you're coming from, to understand what your challenges are, and to help you every step of the way until you hit your objective. That's the partner that we need. Like for us, when we're asked what's the cost of this, our answer would always be, well, what's the objective, and how can we make it work for you? So for us, it's the money is just a means to reach the goal. The payment is just a means to reach the goal, but let's still reach the goal together and work it out. How can we make it work for you? If you tell me your budget is this, then I'll tell you, then this is what we can do as long as we will hit your goal. But it can be initially steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you tell me the budget only allows this, then okay, let's go with 1, 2, 3. But we'll still hit your goal. Maybe tweak some of those steps. But at the end of the day, what matters most for us is that we enable the retailer to hit their goal.
I think this is also where the home court advantage comes in, because you understand the needs of the customers.
Yes.
So tweaking doesn't have to be so tedious, because in our company we've had the experience of well, of course, not to discount their capability. We've had the experience of tapping into a foreign brand, foreign systems company, and the tweaking took more time. Customizing it into our needs. So I think you're right when you talk about partner being an enabler in your digital transformation. I would have to agree with what you said there, Raf.
Yes, I mean, it's very important that the partner knows the context, because what might be working for them in another country might not work for us here. And the fact that when you think of just the internet speed, that alone is already a big difference. They might say, oh, you're going to need this much speed. Like, oh my God, are you serious? Then that can already drive the costs, right?
And with
you
that
always have to find
aspect,
someone.
of course, with that aspect, Filipinos are never short of talent.
Yes.
We are really, especially now, like the likes of Rafael and your team, I'm sure, globally, you could really be as competitive as others. Yun nga that's why that's the beauty of you being able to join us this afternoon and explain to us na, hindi lang pag sinabi mong digital, automatic outside Philippines ang pwede. Diba? It's very great.
Tsaka hindi siya yung type na it's gonna be so much of a hard work, because we have enablers like Retail Gate to help us navigate through that. Raf, I'd like to know, with the current situation now ng pandemic, no, it's something that retailers are using as a way to navigate to the changing landscape. How do you see the digital transformation of the retail industry happening pa in the next months? Where do you see it going?
Well, again, it would depend, I guess, on how they're doing it and what they're learning from it. So it's gonna be a case to case basis. Some might have found their way through it and realized, okay, this is good. We need to keep going. Some might have been overwhelmed. Really depends. I'd say if they have the right people in it or they've prepared internally, then it can be done continuously. No? But so whether what will really happen, it's difficult to say because it's a case to case basis. What I would want to happen though is that I would really see the retail industry really embracing that journey, no? And that discipline of build, test, learn. I mean, there usually the biggest barrier, like I said, for that is it's really the fear of change, and another thing, fear of costs. But again, it doesn't have to be costly. It doesn't have to be costly as long as you're very clear on what the goals are, and you're willing to just really put in a bit, bit to build and then test and then learn. Because as you learn and learn, you'll also realize how you can save more in the next run of build, test, learn.
Correct, tama. It's really, parang in a way investing into the future, it's
Yes.
really looking at it. It's really looking at it on a long-term perspective. Now, I think Raf and RetailGate prepared a short video for us as to how they see the future of retail is in terms of AI. Miguel, can we show the video, please?
We are RetailGate.
Wow, digital is really here to stay, and we see how data, how the services can really help you streamline and maximize opportunities. Diba, Mariel?
That's so true. That's right. And also, digital transformation can be adapted by all businesses, no matter how small or big. I think you just have to say, like what Rafael said, have a clear vision to maximize the opportunities that digital transformation can bring.
Yes, and it's really parang all hands on deck approach to, no? From all the way from the top until your people at the bottom. It's really everybody's ball game, tama. So,
Sure.
ayun. Ralph, thank you very much for this very insightful segment. I'm
Thank
pretty
you.
sure all our viewers learned a lot, no? As to how the digital transformation data can improve customer experience and all that. We will still be with you in the next in the panel segment of the show. So marami tayong mga tanong na itatanong sa iyo doon, ano? That can be, to help us even more understand this shift. So we would like to invite our viewers to stay tuned for that. We will just be going on a very short break, but when we return, we'll be focusing the spotlight naman on another brand who also went digital with their direction, and who are touching more lives even with this direction. So all that when Talk.Shop.Asia Next Gen returns.
We'll be back shortly. This is your Talk Shop Asia Next Gen, only here on V81 Radio worldwide. Connected ka na ba para laging updated sa mga bagong shows, promos, trending news, viral videos, events, o patok na OPM hits? Just follow us on Facebook. Simple lang. I-type lang ang letter V81 Radio. O, di ba madali lang? Kaya i-like at i-follow na. The program that puts together industry and business leaders, their organization, company, and brands in an optimal showcase of information for business impact and exchange. This is Talk.Shop.Asia Global USA Edition. The scalable business exchange program and platform. Hosted by global business leader Rosario Kauhukam Bradbury, live in Southern California, together with the founding anchor, business and transformation mentor Rolly Pagaspas, live in the Philippines. Talk.Shop.Asia Global USA Edition. Tuesdays at 7 p.m. California time or Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Philippine time. Live in all digital platforms of V81 Radio. Available everywhere. Talk.Shop.Asia Global USA Edition. Only here on V81 Radio worldwide. Now back to Talk.Shop.Asia Next Gen. Only here on V81 Radio worldwide.
Drink healthy with Citrazone. Now more than ever, health is wealth. Bring health to your communities with a Citrazone franchise. Find Citrazone on Facebook and take advantage of their 2-in-1 franchise promo this season. Marielle, moving on with our show, we have a brand that aims to inspire naman. No? They allow us to wear our faith. Marielle would like to introduce our new guest.
Interesting, diba? That is very true. You know, our PRA feature member for this afternoon is Worship Generation, the country's biggest brand of Christian-themed merchandise that seeks to make worship a lifestyle. Their brand aims to serve people who are proud of their faith and who desires to proclaim their love for Jesus through what they wear. With us this afternoon to share the faith through fashion is a proud Ilonggo who graduated from the John Gokongwei School of Management of the Ateneo de Manila University. You know, Don, he keeps a framed artwork in his workstation that says, "All I need is coffee and a whole lot of Jesus." A simple reminder, but with 1,000 meaning for his success in work and everyday life. He is the Business Development Head of Worship Generation. Friends, let us welcome Kirk Chester Damasco.
Hello
Hello
po.
and welcome to the program, Kirk. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you po. Okay naman po. Thank you for the invitation.
We're very happy to have you in the show.
Yes, sir. Hi, ma'am.
Thank you for being with us this afternoon, Kirk.
Yes po. Good. Gagayahin ko po yung una nating guest. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening po sa kanilang lahat.
Oh, we have a lot of friends who are watching us right now all over the world. So I'm pretty sure meron dito who may have grown up with the Worship Generation brand, who are fans of the brand. Please go ahead and greet our friends from all over the world.
So hi po sa mga listeners natin all over the world. Thank you for supporting Worship Generation. More importantly, thank you for living out your faith and the things that you hold dear.
Correct. So going into the brand of Worship Generation, we have a short clip here, no, to show our audiences what Worship Generation brings to the table as they intend to inspire us with their merchandise. Miguel?
Wow, Team Jesus. Very interesting and very catchy video. No, it might be short, pero every detail is there. So tell us, Kirk, first of all, how did Worship Generation begin, the journey, and what made you decide on this, very, should we say, a concept that's very, I assume, very close to a personal touch to everyone?
Ano po talaga, as people doing business, we started talaga doing business when my business partner and I were still in college. So back then, with only 11,000 pesos, we started a t-shirt business that was first made available in the bazaar lang. And then after that, we had the opportunity to do shirts for Ateneo. it happened to be our first brand. It's called Get Blued shirts. So you see these merchandise during UAAP games and during the different championships of the school. So that was 2007. And then 2013, we were given the opportunity by the management of House of Praise, which my business partner's family owns, to develop and grow a Christian themed line for them initially. So at that time, we figured that we were catering to a big community, the Ateneo market. And right now, we have the opportunity, at that time, we had the opportunity to cater to the bigger Christian market. But on a business sense, it made a lot of sense because, syempre, it's just the same shirts. You just print it differently. But more importantly, the question that my business partner had to ask ourselves was the question na parang, is the message that Worship Generation carrying something that we also are able and willing to live out personally? Because one of the key insights and learnings that we've had is parang, for us to do well in a particular business, it would really be helpful if we are passionate about it, if we believe in it, and if it's something that we're also willing to live out. So once we settle that question, the next question that we faced was, sige nga, if we deeply believe in these things, if we are followers of Jesus, how can we best express it in a manner that's non-intrusive, that's non-intimidating, that's non-alienating, and in a manner that is very relatable, very current, and very attractive? So doon pumasok na parang, why can't we have merchandise that would have these designs so that in one way or another, it could start a conversation, or it could deepen someone else's journey, or can remind someone who used to believe those things, or can start a seed in the mind and heart of someone na at that point, maybe hindi pa naniniwala. But the important thing is we shared it.
It's very interesting, no? Sisi, you get to share your personal touch with the product. You believe in the product. So, ngayon naman, why do you think naman the merchandise was supported? You mentioned it's been already with you started with a community. So you have a built community already. Kayo mismo, you are believers of the product, which I believe yan ang umpisa ng kahit na anong negosyo, paniwalaan mo ang produkto mo, right? So why do you think people supported and bought your merchandise?
Well, we obviously tapped into something that people were passionate about. The Philippines being a deeply spiritual and religious country has the tradition. And as human beings, we are attracted towards the bigger, important questions in life. And these are mainly answered by our faith. And in different seasons of our lives, be it victory or defeat, crisis season, pandemic season, these are seasons of our lives where we would reflect and express a different aspect of our faith. So parang if you, the Holy Book tells us that out of the abundance of our heart, our mouth speaks. In our case, siguro, out of the abundance of our lives, our shirt speaks. Parang,
diba? It relayed the message.
Diba? We can't help but share it. Like, kunwari, for instance, if someone found this show extremely great, Talk.Shop.Asia next gen, natuwa siya today, he can't help but tell his friends later on na parang, uy, did you watch Talk.Shop.Asia? Sobrang okay nun eh. Same is true with K-drama, with all our movies. So parang, on a business sense, we were satisfied customers of the whole faith experience. That's why we share it to others. And for people to share it also to other people, it must have spoken to them as well.
True, no? And with that said, Kirk, palagay mo naman, kasi you've mentioned you are touching ito na, kumbaga, you're approaching the business in a different aspect. Unlike others that have approached the merchandise, this is the trend, this is the, we are touching it spiritually or probably something personal, as you mentioned. Have you encountered along the way, of course, criticisms, disapprovals, mga nakataas ang kilay?
Well, surprisingly, hindi naman ganun ka lala. What we found as a challenge when we were starting was the mall's ability or willingness to give us spaces. Because at that time, it was a very unconventional product. Na parang,
Because it can be a bit polarizing for some, like religion.
Exactly.
or parang they didn't know
How
where
did
to put us. Are we fashion? Are we novelty? Are we yung ganyan?
Oh,
Are we religious?
category.
Ganyan. Pero ano naman, once we had secured our first ever store, and then a big mall allowed us to be part of their experimental aisle, many malls also caught and saw the concept, and they were much willing to get it and to give us a chance. In terms of criticisms naman, parang there would be people who would say na parang, oh, dapat faith free yan, or dapat belief in God libre yan, ganyan. And
Oo nga, no?
oh, di ba? Eh parang word ni God libre yan. But we would tell them that the word of God is free. But when they get out of our store with a shirt, they get out with a shirt, and the shirt has a cost. Parang,
Great.
diba? One of my good friends nga who's a pastor told me na parang, Kirk, yung aircon naman sa simbahan naman natin, hindi naman Holy Spirit yan, binabayaran naman natin sa Meralco yan. So kailangan din nating bayaran yan.
Tama.
Correct. It's a physical product that you get, in reality. I think what I liked about what Kirk mentioned then is, they really created a niche market. Even retailers were unsure kung saan kayo ilalagay. But once you're able to position yourself, kumbaga, you were able to create a niche market na talagang, and you were able to carve your place in the retail industry. I think that's really nice. Riel?
Yeah, yun nga, Kirk, being in the retail, of course, when the news broke out about the pandemic and the nationwide lockdown will be implemented, what went through your mind? What were your immediate actions and reactions?
Well, the first talaga that came into our minds, my business partner and I, was ano mangyayari sa mga tao namin. Kasi ang daming stores, ang daming tao. Let's say you only had, 60 people, for instance, times 4, a normal family. That's already 6 times 4, 24 to 40 people na yun, di ba?
Right.
So that was at the back of our minds. The second thing would be, do we have the resources, the liquidity to support them, to release a portion of their 13th month, to release allowances, ganyan. We were confident that at some point it's gonna be the online platforms that we're gonna be up first prior to the malls. And as early as a year and a half ago, we've already started transitioning also to those platforms. So we were quite confident that at the very least, my business activity. But during the first few months of the pandemic, it's also great because as a side business, we were able to sell other products that are totally unrelated to worship generation. Like we sold pomelo, we sold mangoes, bikes, kitchen essentials. I mean, just to keep the employment of some of our people going, even if, let's say, those businesses didn't really earn, those businesses still provided our people with means of livelihood. Diba?
True, no? So it's really it still conveys your message, as I see it, Kirk, ha? I mean, with you and your business partners, the faith you have in your employees, yung relasyon that you want to keep, because at the end of the day, tayo pa rin, di ba? We'll be helping each other pa rin.
Kasi parang as Rafael mentioned earlier, parang the digital transformation will be fueled by people naman eh. So parang if the people are not well taken care of, ang hirap.
Nice. So how do you see naman the segment of fashion being inspired by religion and then now going to digital?
Well, it is our nature to express ourselves.
Yeah.
Much more things that deeply form and shape us, much more beliefs that have changed our lives. And faith will always be that one of those things, if not the most important thing that could change and transform our lives. Now, as regards the fashion and digital transformation, I think ano naman, Filipinos by nature are shopaholics, whether window shopping or actual shopping. So that
Me
behavior,
included.
di ba po? So parang that behavior will be translated sooner or later, or sooner, I believe, soonest pa nga eh, online when they buy digital transformation. A crucial ano lang po, a crucial tricky situation lang is the sizing. Yung parang, di ba, bibili ka tapos iba-ibang size. Na parang, so, the things that have been working for us is we've been in the market relatively long. Worship Gen as a brand has been here since 2013. And number two, the platforms where we're at allow naman for relatively easier means to return the products. So, I think that's a challenge that can be readily addressed.
Yeah, I think to let them understand more, these are the merchandise that we are talking about.
Ayun po. So,
yeah, no?
so these are our newer, actually the newest set of designs that we've had. So there are those designs that are very bold. There are those designs that are, alam mo yun, medyo pang shy people, subtle people. Precisely because we are at different stages of our faith journey also.
Exactly. But you can see it's very casual. It's an everyday apparel that everyone would be comfortable wearing. No?
Right. It doesn't scream, alam mo yun, it can end, diba? Tama tayo yung sinabi ni Muriel eh. It's something you can wear every day, anywhere ka pumunta.
I think we have another. Ako, I personally like, sabi ko, yan, no, yung mga hoodie collection na retro series nyo.
So yun, and I really am proud of our team, especially our creatives team, because they really kept themselves abreast with the trends and with what the current design and styles are in the market. And we are also grateful for our partners, our production partners who, in spite of this pandemic, has tried their best still to serve the company.
I assume it's all Filipino, no? We are really a local brand talaga. We support each other. Nice. See the array of the variety of products that you have. We cater for men, women. You have for kids also.
Yes. And it's a behavior kasi that the family would get a shirt for everyone.
Exactly. That's the next thing that I would do, diba? The children will follow that what they see with and if it starts with at home naman talaga. So really nice, diba? So lastly, how do you handle the shift going to retail? No, what were the challenges that you were faced to? You mentioned it was quite last year lang, no, when you shifted to digital. So how was it? What were the challenges that you were
Well, I again would like to echo the Rafael that the biggest challenge talaga is the people. I mean, we can have all the tools that we have. We can have all the analyses and the technologies that we would have. But ultimately, it's the people who will, number one, have to appreciate why the shift is needed. Number two, accommodate in their minds, in the way that they work, that the shift is happening. And number three, parang to be as fast as the shift currently is moving. Kasi kami nga na we are top management, napapagod at nahinihingal na nga kami rin sa
change. Diba?
Sa changes and sa
everything, it follows.
More pa yung how much more pa yung the people working with us na, I mean, in terms of goals and priorities, hindi naman nila necessarily nakikita yung super big picture, unlike the top management.
Right.
It's true.
Tama. I think that's spoken like a true leader, no? Na, you really involve your people into this shift. Kasi, gaya nga ng sabi ni Kirk kanina, it's them who will, help you with the transformation. Siguro, my last question for Kirk would be, not everyone kasi has, shifted yet to the digital space. No, unlike you kahit paano nakapag-set up na kayo 1 year in advance. You're available in different platforms. What would be your message to those brands who have yet to, start their transformation journey into the digital?
Well, ano nga ba yun? This may sound harsh, but
Harsh?
one phrase I heard before was innovate or die. Kasi
Right.
parang you don't have any choice parang but to respond to and be agile and adjust in the face of the disruption that's happening all over. And then eventually make disruption part of the culture. Otherwise, you'll constantly be disrupted. And being constantly disrupted isn't a comfortable place to be in because you're always reacting as opposed to parang being proactive about it. But it will take a lot of studying, testing, building, as Raf would say. It would take a lot of sacrifices and resources, which is realistically speaking something that is a challenge for many companies in the face of the pandemic because we can do many things, but syempre, the financial resources have been badly affected because of the 8 months long pandemic.
That's so true, no? So with that message, no, you really get to see how you should react or in this time, no? Thank you, Kirk, for sharing with us the journey of Worship Generation,
Thank
the
you po.
aspirations of the brand. We are with you in the hope of the continuous growth of your brand, of course, and that you will be an instrument to many to express and discover their faith, and in the process, be able to share it more with others.
Totoo naman, Mariel. At this day and age, no, especially with the situation we are in right now, inspiration talaga, we draw inspiration kung saan po pwede. And I think Worship Generation is very instrumental in that. No, I came to realize that we all have this opportunity to, to envision a way then of moving forward with our faith through strategies and of course with the use of technology as what Worship Generation was able to do in the past months.
I second that. Don. It is in times of crisis when one aims to, as mentioned, restore ability, yung stability, diba? For us to restore it as quickly as possible, which is understandable, human nature reaction. That one discovers his faith, his new abilities. It can also be used as a new starting point, diba? To deeply explore new ideas and approaches that may be effective and sustainable in the long run.
Yes, once again, thank you very much, Kirk, for your very inspiring segment. When we return, we will still be with Rafael and Kirk in our panel discussion as we pick their brains on relevant issues and learn practical insights on this week's topic. All that when we return after this break.
We'll be back shortly. This is your Talk.Shop.Asia Next Gen. Only here on V81 Radio Worldwide. The program that is a call for the times during this 21st century pandemic, seeing breakthrough beyond horizons. This is Two for the Road. Challenges are usually solved and stepped up to as partners know the worth and value of being two for the road. Join the global business and transformation mentor Rolly Pagaspas and global logistics leader Arlene Padua Martinez as they discuss collaborations in the program that pivots on partnerships. This is Two for the Road every Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Philippine time. Only here on V81 Radio Worldwide. Talagang October to remember dahil hindi din puhuhuli ang ibang Viva OPM artists na sasabak sa kantahan sa Home Not Alone Songs from Home Season 2 kasama si Papa Gio, Yumi Laksamana, Isid, Solstice, Just Rap, and Sabu. Kaya iset nyo na ang mga kalendaryo nyo tuwing Merkules 7pm California time o Huwebes 10am Pinas time at samahan si Papa Gio para makipagkulitan, tawanan at kantahan sa Home Not Alone Songs from Home Season 2. Dito yan sa V81 Radio, Los Angeles. Now back to Talk Shop Asia Next Gen, only here on V81 Radio, worldwide.
Once again, we would like to thank our broadcast partner, V81 Radio Worldwide. V81 Radio is available through web streaming. Just visit their page at www.v81radio.com and download the app so you can get to listen to your favorite Pinoy music and program right at your fingertips wherever you are in the world. The V81 Radio app is available for free for live via Google Play Store and Apple App Store.
And again, we are joined by our passionate guests, this gentleman who's been given us very interesting details this afternoon. Let's welcome back Rafael Ayosa of Retail Gate and Kirk Damasco of Worship Generation as we get their insights on question relevance for, of course, our today's topic. Hello again, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hi, Raf. Hi, Craig. So ito na. This is our panel segment of the show where we will be asking you some questions, or relevant questions to our topic. Muriel, would you like to start the questions?
Of course. Bitin pa dun sa kanina so medyo extend natin ha. Another question I was really thinking of this. One advantage of a physical store is the experience, where the senses are stimulated by touch, by smell, that Filipinos or everyone is really into. So how can retail companies address this as we shift to digital?
Go, Raf.
Rafael?
Okay, sige. In terms of sensory experience, the technology isn't quite there yet. Today, especially here in the Philippines. But the key thing really we're seeing kasi about yung having that option for customers to touch, feel, and really look into the products, it's really the matter of choice. And that's the biggest advantage of going online. Because people can really see not just what's in the store, but really everything that's available. And you're giving them the option to choose through different SKUs, different products different merchandise that you have available. And the option, the key there really is, how do you give them that convenience, that experience to really find what they're looking for? So you could help them through the process of finding what color, for example, kay Kirk, right? What color are they looking for? What's the right size that they're looking for? Maybe even help them understand what is my size in the first place. Like if I were to shop online, I should really know my right size and not be in denial of my current size. Right? Really be truthful about it, right? So that I don't get disappointed. So I should be very and then technology comes in and really helping them visualize what will this really mean for me once I get that product. So it's really giving them that option, that freedom. That the same thing that they're experiencing when in the store, giving them the freedom to choose and really look for what it is that they are actually looking for.
Okay.
For me naman po, this pandemic kasi has been a behavior altering wild card. Na parang wala ka namang magagawa yung mga tao ngayon Walang magagawa yung mga tao ngayon kung hindi umiwas talaga as much as possible in going to the malls, especially at the first few months. So parang I would like to believe that behavior and those expectations of having to really feel, touch, see the product, in a way na bago na rin yun. And I think mababago na rin yun moving forward. Or it would take a while before they would demand and seek for the old ways. Because what is happening now is a virus that threatens our very lives and health. Buti sana kung ano lang yun, ibang bagay lang yun Pero parang
Correct.
sense of self and existence and health mo yun So, kaya nga parang it's really the new normal moving forward.
Sa bagay, no? Ang mga customers ngayon are, with the situation, they're more forgiving now, of previous expectations. I think I would like to think that, somehow it has changed that way. We'd also like to ask then, kasi once we go digital, this is mentioned by Raf kanina, about data being used to, streamline the process, serve customers better. In a very data-driven environment, such as digital, isa sa mga key concerns ng consumers is the privacy and the handling of their information. So as a business, what special care and management can we do para hindi ma-compromise yung right to privacy ng ating mga customers?
In terms of the data privacy, I say first and foremost, be very clear on what data you're collecting in the first place. Because not all data naman will really hit on privacy of people. No? But if you're starting to collect personal information or any type of information that would, when brought together, can be reasonably used to identify a specific person, then that's where privacy has to kick in. And then how do you protect that? Making sure you have a very clear policy on what you're going to do, and you have to be very transparent to your customers on what's the purpose of gathering the information in the first place. And the golden word in terms of data privacy is consent. But before you even get their consent, you have to be transparent. So I'd say it's two things: transparency and consent. Once you have those two things, be very clear, and once they already have they give the consent, stay true to that. Also, if you really said that you're just getting this their information for this particular purpose only, stick true to that. And when you say that this is what we do with the data, stick true to that also. Don't just make it a front thing lang. And then also have the right people. Again, going back to what we mentioned earlier, like what Kirk also said, that it's your people who's going to help you in the process in the first place, right? So start again with the people. Make sure you have the right people in place to take care of that, and you don't give access to everyone in the first place, right? So in terms of data privacy, there's what's called the data privacy officer. So make sure that person is responsible and really is very, very keen on making sure that there is no violation on data privacy. And you just then you'll just see that process, that practice should be very true across the whole organization, even down to the stores. And that's why I'd say, I guess recently, we're seeing some announcements also that the National Privacy Commission is looking into the manner of contact tracing, because that's personal information being captured right there.
That's true.
You have to be very careful. I mean, what if there's a person trying to filling out a form, pagpasok ng store, di niya alam, just 2 steps away, there's a stalker waiting to get that information. But you have to be very careful with that then.
Yeah, I agree with Raf. And siguro, just to tackle it from another angle, this is also a call also for customers and individuals watching the show to be mindful then of the data that we share. Kasi parang we talk about data privacy, that we demand these things from businesses. Pero kung makasali naman tayo sa mga Facebook games and Facebook profiles and or kung ano-ano nakikita sa social media, Gina
Namimigay
rin natin, di ba?
Or yung mga face app, gano'n, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point, no? So whichever, whatever angle we look at it, there's really things that is an advantage of going digital. How about what are the most aspects that you like and dislike about going into digital?
How about you?
Kurt now. You start first now.
What I like about it is you can manage it remotely.
Oh yeah.
So parang in the face of the horrendous traffic that we used to have and that we are starting to have again, people are able to be flexible and handle it remotely at their houses. But in the same breath, it increased our ability to do things, but it also increased the expectations from us. That it's hard to keep up sometimes with the change. And especially I go back to our people, no? You would think that because they work from home, they're easily able to do things. Pero parang working from home in this time and season has its own challenges. Being stuck there, having anxieties, having uncertainties with their livelihood, with their relationships in their household. So parang the human element in the digital transformation that's technology driven is always gonna be a challenge.
That's right.
So true.
That's
I
true.
agree.
That's true. Raf?
Mm-hmm. I agree with Kirk. Actually, I was just sharing with you guys earlier, right? The best thing for me about this going digital thing is that I don't have to drive so far and get stuck in traffic when I have meetings and then worrying
For
about parking and all
commitments.
that, right? I'll simply just have to send a link and then okay, see you then, right?
Sure.
But at the same time, the challenge there is that the fact that it's all digital takes away a personal touch, no? and can have an impact also on the relationships. When meeting with people, you don't really get to really understand. There's really that barrier. That screen actually acts as a barrier that actually limits how well you are able to connect to the person you're talking to, and that's the biggest limitation I see with this whole thing. And I totally also agree with what Kirk said. I mean, with working from home, the suddenly work hours and home time, suddenly the lines have been blurred.
Yeah.
They
lose
step
track
on one
of it
another.
already.
You lose track, diba? Before you typically start your day at 8 a.m. and at 5 p.m. Now you see yourself starting as early as 7 a.m. and then going way beyond 5 p.m. Because everyone's doing it and realize, hey, you can still do this. You don't have to go through traffic anyway. So like, now the expectations are so much higher, and now you just have to really learn to adjust, even when you're just stuck in that box of your room, right? And then that's where I see the biggest challenge is.
And if I may add also, I'm sure you've watched Social Dilemma, and and that's a challenge also that we have to be mindful of, not just as business owners, but as consumers of digital platforms and technologies. That we really have to burst the bubble that we're living in. Otherwise, we will just see and be exposed to things that we already know and like.
Yeah, that's
Well,
very
you
true.
get to live
Ano,
it, no? Eventually.
But what I really also loved about what happened in the pandemic, and I'm sure Kirk would agree with me on this, is that the pandemic has brought a lot of us back home and back to God. I mean, kami mismo in our family, it just happened in the pandemic. Because of this, we've been doing every day. We don't miss it. We always have a family Bible study and prayer time at 7:30 p.m. That's become a practice already for our family, precisely because of this pandemic. And I'd say that's a perfect thing. One of the great things that happened also with this, because it brings us back to our roots again, back to essentials. And that's, I think, what will help us also move forward.
Yeah, and what is more, what is more essential than family and home?
The interplay lang lagi of the interplay of the human and the digital is gonna be always in the conversation, whether business or day to day.
Yeah.
Totoo yun. That's true. No, I agree with what Raf and Kirk said. As we go along, kasi it's been what 8 months already of the lockdown. And we are learning. Everybody's learning to cope with how to balance both life and work as we go along with the times. Kasi we don't know how long this is gonna take still, but at least we're all adapting at our own pace, and we're all learning how to adjust to the call of the times. So once again, gentlemen, thank you very much for your insights. It was indeed very inspiring, kasi I can see and hear both that you're both men of faith. Okay.
Yeah,
Faith in God, faith in your people, and then faith in yourself. So I think that's very uplifting for everybody. And from our discussion today, really, I would say my main takeaway, Muriel, would be, we are living at a time where tools are available to us. We are able to reach our customers more. We're able to go back to our roots more, as you mentioned. And it allows us to be more efficient. Okay, it allows us to be more attuned with ourselves and with the world, in a sense. No, what about you, Maria?
I agree. I think in retrospect, we've all faced and conquered changes in our personal and professional lives. Now, more we've been touching spiritual also, no, at one point, as mentioned. So I think now is the time to shift our focus to efforts that support each other to bounce back in one way or another. Given that in the now, we have more access to information, technology, and the people that would help us navigate through these transitions.
These two, I believe, as mentioned by both gentlemen, retail, brick and mortar stores, and the digital can both work together. And what better way to have them working together than now, diba? So yeah, once again, gentlemen, thank you. Raf, thank you very much for your expertise.
Thank you.
Kirk, thank you very much for your journey. We will just be pausing for a very short break, but after this, we will be inviting our guests as to how our viewers can reach them to get to experience their services and products. All this when Talk Shop Asia Next Gen returns.
We'll be back shortly. This is your Talk Shop Asia Next Gen, only here on V81 Radio Worldwide. The program that puts together industry and business leaders, their organization, company, and brands in an optimal showcase of information for business impact and exchange. This is Talk Shop Asia Global USA Edition, the scalable business exchange program and platform. Hosted by global business leader Rosario Kahukum Bradbury, live in Southern California, together with the founding anchor, business and transformation mentor Rolly Pagaspas, live in the Philippines. Talk Shop Asia Global USA Edition. Tuesdays at 7 p.m. California time or Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Philippine time. Live in all digital platforms of V81 Radio. Available everywhere. Talk Shop Asia Global USA Edition. Only here on V81 Radio Worldwide. Kabayan, nahuhomesick ka ba? I-download na ang aming mobile app at mag-enjoy sa mga kantang Tatak Pinoy and feel like you're home. The V81 Radio mobile app, available in the App Store and Google Play Store. V81 Radio mobile app, free now, free forever. Now back to Talk Shop Asia Next Gen, only here on V81 Radio Worldwide.
Muriel, this was indeed a very informative episode. You know, it is, having opportunities like this to learn from industry leaders that makes Talk Shop Asia a venue for all businesses and consumers to learn from each other, diba?
That is so true. As always, Don, Talk Shop Asia gives you information and different viewpoint on journey of the visions of the local brands of the Philippines and their leaders.
Maybe call in our guest, Rafael Layosa, CEO of Retail Gate Technologies, and Kirk Damasco, the business development head of Worship Generation. Raf, any parting messages to our viewers and how can they reach Retail Gate in case they want to know about the services we offer?
Yeah, thanks for that, Don. Well, simply put, when we think of digital transformation, I'd say don't be afraid. It's really a process, and then really, as we've said time and time again, start with your people, and really involve them because they're the ones, as what Kirk mentioned also, they're the ones that will really help you through the process. And also find the right partner who could really help you through the process, who's really there to understand where you're coming from and help you hit your objectives. And that could be us. And if you're interested, you can reach us out. You can check out our website. That's retailgate.tech, T-E-C-H. www.retailgate.tech, or you can check us out on Facebook. That's Retailgate, putting the AI in retail. Or you can reach me directly. That's Rafael. That's Rafael with a PH. Rafael at retailgate.tech.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you for that, Raf. Kirk, what is next for Worship Generation, and how can our customers get hold of your merchandise?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for this invitation, and Raf and I would like to thank you. Shifted na rin to digital. What's next for Worship Generation? We're gonna still continue to grow our online presence. We're gonna grow our digital presence. That's why primarily they can find us at Lazada and Shopee and Zalora. We do have stores in malls, but we have significantly reduced the number of stores also. So that's sometimes digital transformation can be out of necessity because otherwise wala, di ba? But more than that, siguro as a parting shot, change is always happening, and we have the tools to cope with and adapt to the changes. At the same time, it's a great time always to build allies, build partners. So I'm looking forward to actually contacting Raf as to how we can work together.
Yes,
Because
and we're brothers in faith pa. Let's work
Diba?
on it together.
Imagine if you're a business owner and you're gonna study every single trend and options in the digital world, it's gonna be so hard, and your resources will be, and your personal time will be sapped out of you. So
Yeah.
in the face of change and disruption, build allies and invest in your people, because that's gonna be the key to becoming successful in a very disruptive world.
Well
Amen to
said,
that.
gentlemen.
Oo
Well
nga.
said.
Thank you very much. We are looking forward to seeing even more exciting things from Retail Gate and Worship Generation, in the digital space in the Philippines with your brands. So, yeah, Muriel?
Yes, thank you again, gentlemen, for spending your afternoon with us. It was indeed very informative to everyone. We would like to greet our Black Time partners as well. Make sure to watch their weekly episodes here at V81 Radio. Of course, we have Two for the Roads. Pivoting Partnerships is also on their season 2. Saturday Night Love, congratulations, DJ Robbie, by the way. He
Congrats,
successfully
Robbie.
launched his season 2 last night. Of course, more shows that will be launched this fourth quarter with Rainbow Society Season 2, Empowered Global Women, Let's Get Cooked, Everyday Music with Phil Scott, and Barangay UP Alumni's Let's Go Negosyo Na.
Speaking of Barangay
We
UP,
would like-
Rafael is from UP. So,
Yeah.
malamang makita natin si Rafael siguro in the next episode.
Kaya na pa, uy, Barangay UP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we would like to thank everyone once again for tuning in this Sunday at Talk.Shop.Asia Next Gen. We are very happy to be of service to everybody as we bring you the latest in business trends and stories here at Talk.Shop.Asia Next Gen.
We'll see you again next Sunday. Let's talk.
Let's shop here at Talk.Shop.Asia
Asia Next Gen.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
See you again next
Thank
Sunday.
you. Thank you for
Ralph.
having
Thanks,
us.
Kurt.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
The program that gives you the latest in Filipino business and trends with industry experts and norm-challenging brands to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of the consumer market. This is Talk.Shop.Asia Next Gen, thinking forward, staying relevant. Hosted by its founding anchor, business and transformation mentor Rolly Pagaspas, global franchising and business coach Don Senita, together with the beauty and business maven Muriel Villanueva. This is your Talk.Shop.Asia Next Gen. Sundays at 3:30 p.m. Philippine time. Only here on V81 Radio worldwide. Walang kasing saya ang Paskong Pinoy. Dumaan man ang problema at pandemya, kayang-kayang lampasan. Basta't nagdadamayan at nagmamahalan.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Tuloy na tuloy pa rin ang Pasko dito sa V81 Radio worldwide.
Ito ang paborito ng